Well, howdy, everyone. What day of the week is it? I think it's hump day. I think it's Wednesday. Welcome to Facebook and YouTube Live. Today, we are continuing with our Pet Choking Awareness Week. Tomorrow is actually the National Pet Choking Awareness Day. But we've made it into a whole week, and I think it's going to continue into next week. And, this is something that's so important that we all really need to be aware of. And today I am so grateful and thankful that Arden Moore, who is a pet first aid CPR and safety master certified instructor and founder of Pet First Aid for You, has agreed to come on screen and do some demos for us about pet first aid and CPR. So this is great. She's got live demo animals. I think she uses these guys in her teaching, which is awesome. So they're pretty good at this. And Arden, I'm going to turn this over to you. Anything else you want to introduce about yourself, feel free to do so. Otherwise, show us what you got, because this stuff is so important. And I hope that everyone shares this and takes time to let your friends know that it is imperative to have some training, have some ideas. What do you do in this emergency situation? Like, critical information. So Arden, thanks. It's all you.
Hey, pause up, Dr. Judy, and pause up all of you for tuning in, because we can give our pets the best food. We can give them a doggy kitty vacay. We can give them all these cool toys and treats. But I believe the best gift you can give your pet is to learn what to do and what not to do in a pet emergency when minutes count. And that's why I founded Pet First Aid for You. It is a veterinary approved program. I've been doing it about a dozen years, and I cannot do this without my A team. Yay! Give it up for Pet Safety Dog Kona!
Yeah.
Kona. Yeah. She hails from the Rancho Coastal Humane Society. She is not a shelter rescue. She's a shelter alum. She's a therapy dog, and she has been helping me teach pet first aid all over the world via Zoom and in person for the last 6 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know it says dog on the show, but guess what? You are now meeting pet safety cat Casey. He hails from the San Diego Humane Society. He also is a therapy cat. He does walk on a leash. He does ride in a stroller, and he is here to help us as well when we do some of the demos.
Awesome.
I can't do this without. What do you think of the team, Dr. Judy?
I love the team. I'm so jealous. They're so good.
Well, I did write the dog behavior and the cat behavior answer book, so I hope I can work my mojo. But, when I teach my classes, I teach for pet parents. I customize it for pet professionals, even veterinarians. I teach it to first responders, canine police officers, paramedics, and the like. And I also teach a cat-only first aid class. And then if you really want to become an instructor, you get stuck with me for 2 days, 16 hours with Girl, and you become an instructor. So I do a lot in the pet world, sort of like Dr. Judy. I've written 27 pet books.
Wow.
I host 2 shows, Four-Legged Life and Oh Behave. I write for Dogster and Catster, but being here today, this is my jam. This is where I want to help you. And I keep learning new things from my team of ER and critical care veterinarians, because you should be a student, you should be a teacher. That's the best way to do it. Now, Casey just jumped up on top of my desk, which I'm in the backyard office of Arden, so we'll lure him down a little bit later. But Kona, do you want to give them a little anatomy lesson? Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay, so Kona says, hey, guys, if the dog or cat passes out, you need to know where the heart is. Now, the heart is under those ribs, under the lungs. Then there's the heart. And if my friend doing the slides could go to slide 2, I can show what I'm talking about. So you will see, it looks like the lungs look like somebody popped open an umbrella on the dog. And there's the one with the kitty. So we can go back to no slides right now. Thank you, mystery person. Okay. The point is, you need to know where the heart is for your dog or cat. The second thing is, this is not human first aid, CPR. We do things a little different because our pets have teeth and claws, and so some of the things we do, if any of you have taken a human first aid class, bravo, brava, I appreciate that. But when you're learning on a dog or a cat, you don't want to get bit. You don't want to get clawed. So we do some things different than in human. For example, if I asked all of you, I know I can't see you, but I want you to do this right now. Go ahead and show me on your body where you would find your pulse or your heartbeat. Come on. Dr. Judy, show me where you'd find it on your, yeah, look at her.
Neck, wrist.
It's instant. We can thank all those medical shows we watch, right? But when you ask a person, where do you find a pulse on a dog or a cat? You hear crickets. So one of the first things I want to teach you is where you find a heartbeat on a dog or a cat. So just like in humans, they have some mighty arteries. Along the neck, they have the carotid artery. Under the front armpits of their front legs, you'll feel this ribbon, and that is called the brachial. I jokingly in class say, think of wearing a bra. So there's your brachial. My personal favorite is below the tail, above the rectum. I know that's the proper word, but in class I say butthole. And that is an artery called the caudal, C-A-U-D-A-L, or as Conan will say, caudal, caudal, caudal. But the mightiest one, and the one we use to find if they have a heartbeat, is actually inside the hind leg. And that's the femoral. So we show in class a safe way when the pet is not injured. Get in the habit. When your dog gets done fetching or your cat has zoomies, go and check for a heartbeat when it's still going like this. So you build that touch. You build that ability to find the heart. Because this dog or cat has teeth and claws, you would think you would go this way to find a heartbeat. Nope. You intentionally take the hand closest to the head. You cross it over. Now, you all know this. We don't use our thumb. Come on, everybody. What's in our thumb?
A pulse.
The pinky is kind of just along for the ride. This might surprise, hopefully, even Dr. Judy. We no longer check for a pulse for a dog or a cat on an index finger because we swipe all day on our tablets, on our phones. It has become desensitized. So we have to use our ring and middle finger. Please don't give them any more jobs, because then we're going to have to do toe testing on the femoral artery. We don't want that. If you haven't guessed already, I believe in making learning something scary like CPR or first aid a little fun. I do tell dad jokes. I am a punster, but everything I do is validated by my team of veterinarians. But I think people learn better when they're happy, when they repeat what they're hearing, and when they feel welcome and safe. So that's my method to my madness. So on Kona, to get her heartbeat, I intentionally take this hand by her head. I cross it over. Now take your two middle fingers right by the butthole and slide those two middle fingers inside that hind leg, and then come up and do an upside down L. You're going to find a ribbon with your two fingers pressing against it. That's the big artery. That's the femoral artery. When we check for a heartbeat, don't spend minutes. You just want to quickly check for about 5 or 6 seconds. Now, the reason we use this hand is because of teeth and claws. If Kona should suddenly wake up from a state of unconsciousness, I don't want to be a member of the Van Gogh family. So I use this hand, so I slide down and I can park my elbow and forearm across her neck and cheek to keep her from chewing me up. So that's something that is very important to keep in mind. Other thing that's different than when it comes to human CPR is we do not waste any time up front trying to find a pulse. Because as we've explained, most people know where to find it on a person. Most people don't know where to find it on a dog or cat. And when a pet or dog their heart has stopped, every minute that heart is out, the chance of survivability goes down 10%. So with dogs and cats, everybody, every minute counts. So in pet first aid, we actually do this quick series, and I'm going to see if she'll do this for me. I've tried to work on her. She's going to pretend like she's out. Let's see if it works. You come home and your dog or cat is just flat out on the floor, not moving. You don't know what's going on. So you approach your belly to their back, again for safety. Then you do a 360 survey. You know why? Because you're a first responder. What if there's still a burglar in the house? So protect yourself. Then you approach belly to back, you clap, you stomp, and you say the pet's name. Kona, wake up. Kona, wake up. Kona, wake up. Now, folks, this is the only play dead trick I've ever taught my cat dog. Isn't that cool?
Good at this.
Right. Oh, you can wake up now. You can wake up. Oh, I was just kidding, you guys. I was really just pretending. All right. There's no response. That took just a few seconds. Then we're going to go through the steps of CPR. Now, there's two math equations. If you hate math, and trust me, don't check out my high school grades for math, but these are two life-saving math equations. And when we do this in our classes, we always talk out loud together. You're hearing it from me, but you're learning to say it. And then it starts sticking like pasta on a wall, right? So the two math equations before I touch Kona. Watch my hand. One full set of CPR consists of doing 30 chest compressions, 2 rescue breaths, 30 chest compressions, 2 rescue breaths. So lock that in. 32, 32. We're going to demonstrate that in a second. Once you've done a set, you always, each and every single time, assess. That's a fancy word for saying check to see if you can find a pulse on the femoral artery. And remember, don't dilly-dally, 5 or 6 seconds. If the pet is still out, but you found that beat, now what? That's when you go with life-saving math equation 2. And that consists of actually doing 30 rescue breaths in about 1 minute. Now, you don't have to have a watch on. You're talking out loud. So you actually are breathing into their nose. And after 30 breaths, again, you assess. This time you're like, I don't know if I did it. Don't freak. Just go back to 30 chest, 2 breaths, 30 chest, 2 breaths. Now, when we get done with all of this, the magic mystery person in charge of the slides, we're going to go through them. So, because I think people learn better when they can visually see and physically do. So, Kona, is it time to save your life? Again? Okay, so let's try it. Kona, let's lay down. You are out for the count. I approach belly to back. I clap. I stomp. Kona, wake up. Kona, wake up. Nada. Now I need to do a set of CPR. So, I can't wait for Dr. Judy's reaction. I got approval from my vet team. Ladies and gents, it does not matter if the dog or cat collapses on this side or the dog or cat collapses on that side. You can go either way. But the hand placement, again, for your safety, is always important. So I asked my vet team, can I use this rhyme? And they said yes. You guys ready for it? Strap yourselves in. All right. I say the hand that does the pump is closest to the rump. And the palm is the pump because it has a lot of meaty stuff in it that gets down past those ribs, past the lungs to the heart. And each time you do a chest compression, think, I got to go down 1/3 to 1/2 the width of that particular animal's chest and back to get to the heart. It's kind of like when you're starting a stubborn lawnmower. So you need to make sure you're doing it with gusto. I don't care if you're like me and had a little COVID-19, you know what I'm talking about, ladies and gents. You should be able to feel that abdominal thrust, the chest compression in your abs. You notice I'm standing up. I'm not doing lazy gal CPR. And so, you ready, Kona? We're going to do this. We're going to save your life. This is my best friend, guys. I love this girl. In case he was being a stink pot, is my BFF, my best feline friend. So, all right, here comes my song. You want to start in the name of love. Do it for your cat and for roll over. All right. Do I see smiles? Is it getting less scary? All right. The hand that does the pump is closest to the rump. So I take my thumb, Kona's going to help me, and I stick it under her elbow. Now notice my hand placement, guys. The hand is right here, and I'm not cupping her chest. I want the meat of my palm getting to the heart. This is the basic default way to do dog and cat CPR. There's other variations, but I'm helping you with this one. Then you intentionally take your hand closest to their head. You interlace those fingers. Now look what I'm doing with my elbows and my posture. I'm not doing this. I'm going right over Kona, and I count out loud 30 chest compressions. 10, 20, 30. Take the hand closest to the head. As I say it, I say open the airway. You're aligning the head with the spine. Maybe as in choking, maybe there was something caught in the airway, and that chest compression and then aligning the head with the spine may have popped that object into the mouth, or they might have swallowed it. So open the airway, then open the mouth, and you pull the tongue forward past those big canines. Third, you look and you do a finger sweep. Is there some things inside the mouth that I can fish out, like a piece of kibble or a chew toy or something? Then you take upper and lower on your hands. You cup the upper and lower jaw. You're creating an airtight seal. And this is where you do the 2 rescue breaths. When you do each breath, you want to see how you're doing. So you blow into their nose, breath, check, breath, check. We finished the set. If you want for fun, everybody, I can't hear you, but let's do it. 10, 20, 30. Open the airway.
Open the airway.
Pull the tongue forward.
Pull the tongue forward.
Do a finger sweep.
Do a finger sweep.
Form an airtight seal.
Form an airtight seal.
Breath, check. Breath, check. All right, we did a set. For our safety, we take the hand closest to the head. We go on the seam, go upside down L. Kona has a heartbeat.
Yay.
But she's still out. So this is life-saving method 2, which is 1 minute of rescue breaths, which is about 30. So in order to do that, you're going to notice something similar. Open the airway. Pull the tongue forward. Do a finger sweep. Form an airtight seal, but this time you're counting out loud. So you do breath, check, 2, check, 3, check, to 30. That's about a minute. Again, we just finished the set. You guys know the drill. We go back and assess. Yikes. I don't know if I found any pulse. That's okay. Go back and do 30 chest, 2 breaths, 30 chest, 2 breaths. Now, I'm going to dive in a little deeper just to help you understand some things. Can you crack a dog or cat's ribs doing CPR? Personally, I would rather have a dog mend from broken ribs than not make it.
Yeah.
And have all the ribs intact. Second, thank you, dang COVID, because we used to have those demo dogs where you could breathe in and see the chest rise and fall. but that's cooties. Nobody's going to blow into anything. I'm not even going to take a piece of birthday cake from my nephew if he blows out the candles. I love you, man. Oh, yeah, I'm watching myself. I'm not going to do that. So this is where it's really important to gauge the size of your pet, dog or cat. Do not be a tuba player inside a dog. I'm going to surprise you. This is Emma, my Gemma. Ha ha, popped up like toast. We rescued her during COVID. She goes, I don't do first aid. I just want to say hi on camera. But Emma is 8 pounds. So if I blew too much into her and her lungs went way up, you could burst the lungs. You could also, which is really tasty, everything in the stomach could fill with air. And guess what, guys? It's coming out here while you're doing your job. Now, don't play like a piccolo player into a cane corso or a Saint Bernard. So what do? Well, your homework. Watch your dog, your cat, when they're having fun and they're all active. See how far up and down their chest goes when they're breathing. And then check when they're just relaxing and sleeping. Lock that in your brain. That's the amount of air you're going to be breathing into their lungs. The other thing, you really, really, really need to open the mouth and pull that tongue forward and sweep anything you can out of the mouth before you form a seal and blow. Now,
Arden, I just want to clarify something, because you can't do this obviously when you're demonstrating on a live dog, but when you're breathing into the dog, you are making an airtight seal with your mouth around the dog's nose.
Yes, you're keeping their upper and lower jaw together, but you're sealing their nose, correct?
Right, but when you do the breaths in, you are actually a seal with your lips around their nose. Okay.
Yes. Don't make out with your dog, but yes, you're saving a life. And the other thing that's going to look weird, check your dog or cat right now. They got little baby teeth here and here. When the tongue is out and you create that seal, that tongue is going to stick out. It's okay. They're not going to bite their tongue off. The other thing is, oh, you're going to love this one. I bet you never heard this in vet school, Dr. Judy. When you are keeping the upper and lower jaw together and you're sealing, blowing into the nose and watching that the air is going to the chest. If you don't do that, the air is going to escape out the side of their mouth. And I call this medical term, blah, 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 blah. You don't want blah, 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 blah. All right? The other thing is, you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So we recommend that you do about 6 sets of CPR, rescue breaths. Put your phone on speaker while you're still doing it. Call the nearest veterinary clinic, not one 20 minutes away. When the receptionist answers the phone, please, in my class, I give everybody permission to freak out later. So you got to state the facts, because every minute counts in saving your pet's life. Quickly, they say, may I put you on hold? No. Dog emergency. My dog's not breathing. I've done 6 sets of CPR. I think I'm about 12 minutes away. Listen to what they may say. Maybe you have somebody that can drive you. If that's the case, please put your pet in the back seat with you, not the front passenger seat, and continue doing CPR. If you are by yourself, listen to what they say. They may say do a few more sets, but you need to have the little guys in a carrier in the back seat on the floor based on crash test, and the big guys in tethered in the back seat. Don't go through red lights. Do not honk your horn. Try putting your flashers on. Everybody's going to be like, what's going on? Something's going on there. Something's going on. And get there safely and quickly. Never show up at a vet clinic with a medical emergency. There's a thing called a phone. Let them help you, because every minute counts. Now, I wanted to show it with a cat, a one-handed CPR. I'm going to see if I can get Casey down here. Casey, do you want a treat? Come here, Casey. Come on.
Casey says, I see what's going on. I'm out.
Well, I learned this from Dr. Elizabeth Colleran. Come here, Casey. Come on. Here we go. We're going to do this. We're going to get you. Come on, Casey. Come on. There we go. Come on, Casey. While he's waiting, I'm going to get him. With Dr. Colleran, she taught me with cats, you never force, you always negotiate. Casey, we're going to have to do your stand-in if you don't come. Come on, Casey. Casey, come on. All right, we're going to do a stand-in. We always have a stand-in. Hang on.
I love these animals.
All right. Here we go.
Kitty may still show up.
Hey, what do you think?
Well, we have one very similar to that.
What's that?
I said we have one very similar to that in our office.
Yeah. Well, he just came out. There we go. Kona, have a seat. Kona, have a seat. Kona, have a seat.
Oh, there's
okay.
the good kitty.
All right. Casey says you can do one-handed CPR, and it's best if it's a cat or dog, kitten or puppy that's smaller than the length of your forearm. Obviously, guys, he's a lot longer. He's a long, lean, purring machine. But pretend he's little. So everybody, the hand that does the pump is still closest to the rump. But this time you stick your hand out, you put your 4 fingers under, you point your thumb to your belly button, and you do 30 squeezes. 10, 20, 30. Everything else is the same. Open the airway, pull the tongue forward, do a finger sweep, airtight seal, breath, check, breath, check. 10, 20, 30. You guys getting it? Open the airway, pull the tongue out, do a finger sweep, airtight seal, breath, check, breath, check, assess. Let's give it up for Pet Safety Cat Casey.
He's awesome. Awesome cat.
I gotta pay him. He's on union wages. Come here. There you go. Okay. All right. So that's some of the things that we do teach, but I'm certainly open for questions. One thing I wanted to share with you with my Pet First Aid for You program, if you've got a group of people that want me to teach on Zoom or in person, depending on where you live, just reach out to me. We can make it happen. But it's things that I really love to do.
We will put your contact info, website, that kind of stuff in the show notes. Could you, probably easiest with the dog, could you show us how you would do a heimlich maneuver if you thought your pet had something stuck in their throat?
Yes. With that one, come here, Connie, come here. The main thing, I want everybody to stick their hand out like this. Now I want you to put your thumb inside. Now I want you to make a fist. Because when you're doing abdominal thrust or the kitty doggy heimlich, you don't want that thumb out because, ow, that hurts, right? Now I've been taught to do 5 abdominal thrusts in a row, always on the exhale, and then inspect the mouth. And you're like, exhale, well, how do I know? Here's where your ears come in handy. When a dog or a cat is choking, you're going to see them lurch and, right? Listen, when that's, now I'm going to get choked. Listen, when that sound sounds like more of a gasp, it's called a stridor. You're going to hear, what's that telling you is whatever is there is partially blocking their airway. We need to do abdominal thrust. Now, for dogs, medium to large, I'm going to try to do the little one on Kona. Keep your paws crossed. Emma. You want to put that thumb in, put your fist. Everybody, put your other hand like this, like you're a cup and saucer, like you're having tea with the Brits, right? You do the abdominal thrust on the exhale, so you hear that. Then you go up and forward toward their mouth like a backwards J. 5 in a row. And you're like, well, where do we place our hands? Kona will help. Take your hand and go along your pet's rib cage. It's really long. It's farther back than you realize. You're going to feel the end of the sternum. I call the medical term the gushy spot. That's where you put that up and down fist. You take your other hand, depending on the size of the dog, and you cup it so you have stability. So you hear the gas, then you go up and forward out their mouth. I'm not going to do it hard because I don't want her to hurl right now. After 5 in a row, you open the mouth and see if you can fish anything out. Now, if there's nothing in the mouth and they are not gasping anymore, it's in the belly. We don't have x-ray visions. I like to be cautious. So I would rather have a veterinarian check it out to make sure what's going on with an x-ray. For little guys, oh my gosh, pray for me. You want to try it, Emma? Oh, yes, this is fun. All right, you can have them. It's so good. You can have them braced against you. Take your hand and go all the way down. Right here is the end, the gushy spot. Thumb in, and you are going to go in and up on 5 exhales. In and up. And again, same thing, check the mouth. There are, we got to give it up for Emma. She doesn't
that
do
was
this.
awesome. So, and somebody had a question for my 5 and 9 pound dogs.
Yes.
So that was great. But for the CPR for a very tiny dog, would you do the one-handed?
Yes, as long as they're smaller than the length of your forearm. Perfect. Yeah, like Emma would be one-handed. Emma's 8 pounds.
Okay.
Casey's 12 pounds and longer than a football yard. he would be doing I would be doing two-handed on him.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. This takes me back to being in practice. I mean, you never want to be having to do CPR because it means something went terribly wrong. But when particularly in practice, when we are, especially if it's a big dog, it can be exhausting doing compressions. So make sure, like Arden was very good about explaining body mechanics, how you want to position your body. And you do need to be above them. So let's just say that the dog is at this level. There's no way you can be doing compressions effectively and get your body in the correct position. So you've got to have the dog lower than you. So if the dog is up, and if they're up on a sofa, that's a squishy surface. You're just going to be bouncing. You're going to bounce the dog into the sofa and the bed. So you
it's got to be a hard surface. Right now, Kona is on a cushion table, but just like starting a stubborn lawnmower, you got to have that recoil. Right. So big dogs, medium dogs, you're on your knees doing it on the floor. Little dogs, cats, you could be on the kitchen counter table. No sofa, no pillow, no bed, nothing soft, because you've got to have the heart reach a firm surface and get bounced back to try to jumpstart it.
Yep.
Right.
Awesome.
Right, buddy?
Absolutely awesome.
So yeah, that's the thing. I've actually got to tell you guys, I have done CPR 4 times and I have saved 2 dogs.
That's awesome.
So you're like, well, that's great, and but I lost 2. But you know what I did, and I hope you will listen to this?
You saved 2.
My veterinarian, Dr. Deborah Charles, said, do the best you can in the circumstances you're in with the skills you have. So every one of you right now tuning in, I really applaud you, because when you started this video and when it ends, I am praying that you now have built some knowledge that just may be able to save your pet's life. And remember, I'm giving you permission to freak out later.
Yeah.
Because your pet, as Casey would say, you need to be in the me now.
Okay. So somebody asked a question. If they are choking, can you push the sides of the throat to get it out? I saw a video about that on social.
It really depends on what the object is. I've been taught to just kind of do a finger hook, but there are exceptions. If your dog or cat swallowed a shoelace, a needle and thread, I hate those pictures of kittens with a ball of yarn. linear objects that cause choking, you don't want to pull if there's any resistance, because you can strangle the trachea. And can you imagine that needle in the stomach just dancing around, lacerating? So you are going to have to breathe for that pet en route to the vet. But I will yield to you on that other, if you have something to add, Dr. Judy.
I think it would really, I mean, there are a lot of critical structures that we can damage in the throat. So it would really depend on what it was. But yes, if you came up from behind, and I've seen those videos too, if you come up from behind and kind of feel it on your own throat so you know what it's going to feel like, and that will give you some indication about whether you would want to have it done. But if you know that there's kind of a ball stuck over that area and it's something like, if you know what it is and you think you can just give it a little pop, I would try.
Yeah,
I would probably.
the jawline.
Yep. So I'd probably try the heimlich.
Or they got a tennis ball, and you know this because this is why you started the holiday. Don't give your dog any balls to play with that are small enough that they can put in their mouth.
Yeah.
It's got to be big enough so they can't have it block the airway.
Yep. That's why I absolutely love the Jolly balls. We got one. They have the handle on them. We got one for our Cocker Spaniel, and it is his favorite toy in the world. He loves to carry it around. It is way too big. It is indestructible. There's no way he can swallow that thing. All right. So you have slides. Let's give your dog a break, and we're going to run through the slides because it's sort of the review. Joey, you can make that big and make me small, maybe. I don't know. But we're going to run through the slides just as a review.
Yeah.
Okay.
The main thing, everybody talks about CPR being about the ABCs. It's all about, getting that airway open, getting the breathing going, and getting the heart to circulate oxygenated blood to keep the whole body system viable. And again, when you are approaching a dog or a cat, because they may just be in a deep sleep, you don't want to get bit. That's why we do clap and stomp, say their name. The stomping may be for a pet that feels the vibration. Maybe they are hard of hearing or something. Always approach belly to their back. You don't want to go, this is called the doggy De Niro. You're talking to me, I'm talking to you. You're talking to me, I'm talking to you. You don't do a doggy De Niro on a dog or a cat because you're going to lose your nose. So that's the most important thing. And be in the present moment. And this is silly, but one of the best ways to be in the present moment is to stop. Take a deep breath for like 4 seconds. Let it out for 4 seconds before you approach the pet. I've learned this repeatedly from all the first responders that take my classes, the paramedics, the nurses, the vets, the vet techs, the EMTs, the firefighters, the canine police officers. You have to be in the present moment. You can't do anything about the past unless you're a time traveler. And I would like to have you on my show then, for the life. And you can't really do a lot about the future, but you can stay in the me now lane and do a lot of good. And just remember, don't let numbers freak you out. In my classes, I don't tell you a lot of numbers. I give you practical information. But the two that you really need to do is, one set of CPR is 30 chest compressions, 2 rescue breaths, 30 chest compressions, 2 rescue breaths. If you find a pulse, hallelujah, then go with 30 mouth to snout breaths, each time checking the chest, and then assess. Keeping that cell phone around you is paramount. I'm so glad we have speaker mode because you can still keep that heart viable. All right, slide it. Here's a way to get you to figure out how we're doing it. All right, so you see that I am doing 30 chest compressions on Kona. And again, you're standing over and you're either on your knees or you're on an elevated surface that you still have this straight arm, not this. Second is you definitely need to open the airway. And you need to look and inspect to make sure there's nothing in the mouth. If you can take it out, please do. That's where step 3 comes, doing the finger sweep. Only after you do a finger sweep, then you seal the upper and lower muzzle, and you cup your mouth and form a seal over their beautiful nostrils. And the breath of air is based on the size of the pet. You want that chest to rise and go down. You don't want it to be like Jiffy Pop popcorn. And, so don't burst the lungs. So go ahead to the next slide. you're going to do the rescue breaths. And after each time you finish a set, we showed you the safe hand by the head to check for a pulse each and every time. And by the sixth set, you call on your speakerphone the nearest vet. They know you're coming. Listen to their instructions and be able to get there safely with your flashers on. The picture you see there is showing how you can do one-handed CPR on a small dog or cat. Actually, Dr. Judy, that's my late great dog Cleo, who's in the Guinness Book of World Records because she was one of the original SoCal surf dogs. And we raised $72,000 for the San Diego Humane Society years ago because we got 17 dogs to ride and stay on a modified surfboard all the way to shore with the Guinness people watching us.
Wow.
So I've been pretty lucky with the kind of pets I have in my life. So
you have amazing animals.
And then I think the last, is that it? Oh, yeah. I can't do this class without Kona and Casey. I mean, come on, guys. Isn't it nice to have a real pet? If you take the classes on Zoom, I get to guide you in real time with your own dog, your own cat. Oh, something happened.
Okay. Then we have information on there. You're still good.
Yeah. Hang on. I just lost you guys. Hang on. Oh, there you are.
Okay. Yeah, we're still here. So Joey has put up there the website, Pet First Aid, the number 4u.com, which is amazing. It's also in the chat. And somebody said their dog swallowed a chunk of meat the other day while eating. Her legs sort of went out straight out to the side. She's okay. I followed directions I had learned and she's fine. You never know how many dogs you save by getting this information out there, which is amazing. Tamara says she keeps missing these. These are available for replay on our social media. They stay on there kind of forever. So, Arden, are you doing in-person events at all with this?
Oh yeah. I actually drove all the way from Dallas to Omaha, Nebraska with Kona and Casey. We rented an Airbnb and we taught nearly 80 people over 4 or 5 days and got them certified for 2 years in Pet First Aid. So
that's
if there's a group that's got a big number, we do that. I customize it for boarding staff and pet sitters, vet teams, first responders. I've been to Jackson, Mississippi teaching canine police officers. But the cool thing is Zoom. Don't you wish we bought stock in it in the fall of 19?
Yeah, no kidding.
I have taught people first aid now in South Africa, Egypt, all of Europe, part of South America, and I even taught it in New Zealand. So it's live, guys. It's interactive, and I help you during class with your own dog and cat.
Yeah, I feel like every pet sitter should have this on their resume. I am trained in CPR, and I can do the Heimlich maneuver, and I'm going to watch your pets eat and make sure that they're not choking on their food. I
actually teach people to be instructors since 2018. We've taught hundreds of people that are now under Arden's Army with Pro Pet Hero, and they're teaching. But I totally agree.
Perfect.
If you're with NAPS or PSI or whatever, you need to have pet first aid training.
It's amazing. Really, really good. Arden, you are amazing. You're fun. You're funny. Your animals are just the most amazing animals. I'm going to go home and talk to my animals and explain to them that they need to learn something other than, the dogs are all chasing the cats and it's a little crazy. And anyway, thank you.
Pause up and we thank you for inviting us. I am going to play fetch with Arden after this.
Oh, that's awesome. You always have to have a reward for the work. So that is amazing. All right, everyone, we will see you tomorrow. My guest tomorrow is Jonna Devereaux from Bow Wow Labs. And we are, Bow Wow Labs was the driving force behind getting National Pet Choking Awareness Day. So we are very thankful for that. And we're very thankful that they asked me to team up with them. And follow Arden's writing and go to her website. She's doing amazing things. She's a force to be reckoned with in the pet world. So she's just, loves educating and helping all of you have great relationships with your pets and understand how to save them in a life-saving
Thank
event.
you for inviting us, Dr. Judy. What you do is awesome.
Thank you very much. All right, Joey, I think we're good to go.